You're listening to an iHeart podcast.
Hey sis, it's Mandy Money from the Brown Ambition podcast. Are you wondering, how am I going to break free from this paycheck to paycheck life? How do I get into the stock market? Is that my 401k? Is it my HSA? What even are these things? We have y'all covered at Brown Ambition. I'm your host, Mandy Money. I'm a career and money expert. I help women start building generational wealth to get the dose of empowerment, strategy, and community that only Brown Ambition can offer. Listen to Brown Ambition on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Explore the winding halls of historical true crime with Holly Fry and Maria Tremarchi, hosts of Criminalia, as they uncover curious cases from the past. The legend of the highwayman suggests men dominated the field, but tell that to Lady Catherine Ferrers, known as the Wicked Lady, who terrorized England in the mid-1600s. Her legend persists nearly 400 years after her death. Highwaymen are in the hot seat this season. Find more crime and cocktails on Criminalia. Listen to Criminalia on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, from Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about word weavers, people who coined terms, popularized words, and even created entirely new languages. These activists, writers, artists, and scholars used language to shape ideas and give voice to experiences that once had no name. In the early 1900s, while entrenched in civil rights activism for the Indian population in South Africa, Gandhi first employed the term Satyagraha to describe his approach to nonviolent resistance. Today's Womanican, though not the progenitor of the word Satyagraha, is credited as a defining font of inspiration for the development and evolution of her husband's approach to resistance. Please welcome Kasturba Gandhi. Kasturba was born Kastur Kapadia on April 11, 1869 in present-day Gujarat, a state on the western coast of India. Her father was a well-known textile merchant. Kasturba's future husband, known then as Mohandas Gandhi, also grew up in Gujarat. Their fathers worked together and were friendly. The family's close relationship led to Kasturba and Gandhi's betrothal when they were both just 7 years old. The two were married in 1882 when they were around the age of 13. Marriage from such a young age was not easy for Kasturba. The Gandhi family moved to a city several days' journey away, separating her from the life she had known. In her new home, she assisted with housework and chores, while her husband went to school. In the early years of the marriage, Gandhi had more traditional views on gender roles and often sought to bring Kasturba under his control, limiting her movement and requiring her to ask permission to leave the house. While she was dutiful, she did not allow him to overpower her, refusing to cower to his threats to send her away for perceived disobedience. 3 years into their marriage, Kasturba gave birth to her first child, but sadly the child died just a few days later. Soon after, Gandhi left to study at university, which would be the beginning of many periods of physical separation for the couple. Eventually, he returned home and the couple had the first of their 4 sons in 1888. Gandhi then left Kasturba and their newborn son to study law in England. His decision went against the desires of his caste elders, and as a result, the family was excommunicated. This was hard on Kasturba, who could no longer rely on her community and became isolated. After his studies, Gandhi found work in South Africa as a lawyer. It would be several years before the rest of the family joined him. By the time Kasturba and her sons joined Gandhi in South Africa, he had already made quite a name for himself. In 1906, they moved to the Phoenix Settlement, a community created in accordance with Gandhi's ideals for communal living. In the Phoenix Settlement, Kasturba became a mother figure to all in the community, known as Ba, which means mother. And so her name shifted from Kastur to Kasturba, as we know her today. Kasturba also spent long periods alone on the settlement as her husband traveled and was frequently imprisoned for his activism. Throughout, Kasturba stayed devoted. In 1908, when Gandhi faced prison time for his first Satyagraha campaign, Kasturba ate the same food he was given in jail in solidarity with his hardships. She did this despite challenges to her health, which had begun after challenging childbirths. Satyagraha is the term Gandhi and his supporters developed to define the determined but nonviolent resistance to evil, central to their activism. The term also has a literal meaning, to hold on to truth, or to cling to truth. Satyagraha has come to mean more than just the action of nonviolent resistance. It's also about taking on the burdens of injustice and remaining true to one's ideals. It's a mindset and an active work. When reflecting on Kasturba's influence on himself and his philosophy, Gandhi said this: "She was a woman always of very strong will, which in our early days I used to mistake for obstinacy. But that strong will enabled her to become, quite unwittingly, my teacher in the art and practice of nonviolent non-cooperation." Through Kasturba's resistance and demonstrations of strength, Satyagraha was formed. In 1913, South Africa's Supreme Court decided to essentially nullify all non-Christian marriages in South Africa. Kasturba protested the decision and was sentenced to 3 months in prison. This spurred more women to participate in active protest, and the notoriety of their action led to a large strike of Indian mine workers. Eventually, the South African government agreed to recognize non-Christian marriages. In the midst of this successful campaign, Kasturba and her family relocated back to India to help India's fight for independence from British colonial rule. She assisted her husband on most of his major campaigns. In 1917, Kasturba joined Gandhi's work with indigo farmers, teaching women skills to become more self-sufficient, like weaving their own clothes. Then, in 1928, during another Satyagraha campaign, she encouraged women to participate in civil disobedience, like picketing and boycotting. Kasturba often took her husband's place in campaigns when he faced prison time, and was herself imprisoned again numerous times throughout the 1930s. In 1942, Gandhi was set to lead a nationwide Satyagraha campaign under the Quit India Resolution. But before it could begin, he was arrested. Not wanting to abandon the fight for Indian independence, in her husband's place, Kasturba went to Shivaji Park to address the audience of many thousands. Shortly thereafter, she was arrested. Kasturba spent the last years of her life imprisoned in Aga Khan Palace alongside her husband. Kasturba's story is inherently intertwined with her husband's, but her actions stand apart and on their own. Her legacy as a movement leader, as a wife and mother, and as a foundational figure in Satyagraha cannot be sidelined. Kasturba passed away on February 22, 1944, after suffering multiple heart attacks. She was 74 years old. All month, we're talking about word weavers. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow.
Explore the winding halls of historical true crime with Holly Fry and Maria Tremarchi, hosts of Criminalia, as they uncover curious cases from the past. The legend of the highwayman suggests men dominated the field, but tell that to Lady Catherine Ferrers, known as the Wicked Lady, who terrorized England in the mid-1600s. Her legend persists nearly 400 years after her death. Highwaymen are in the hot seat this season. Find more crime and cocktails on Criminalia. Listen to Criminalia on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, when's the last time you've listened to Hot 99.5? Because we have all of the hit music, but also a lot more. Like Intern John in your morning show. I'm Elizabeth Bethany. I want to make sure you always know about the latest events, deals, and things we're making fun of around the DMV.
I love this station. You talk about real stuff.
And Nick Gomez gets you access to all of your favorite artists. And we're all giving a bunch of things away every day. In fact, you might even be able to win $1 million.
Oh, snap. I won, too. Awesome.
We're DC's #1 hit music station, Hot 99.5.
You're listening to an iHeart podcast.